to make six figures a year, you got to make $274 a year, right?
Something like that.
A day.
Yes.
A day. So that's working 7 days a week. So now if you make calculations and make little tweaks on how many days a week do you want to work?
Yes.
Then you have, you kind of combine the money because now at $274 a day, that's only $1,900. So $1,918 a week. Like, how many of you guys are already making that? So now let's say you only want to work
5 days a week.
5 days a week. That's $383 a day.
Yeah. And it comes down to not necessarily doing services because you could.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you sell products? How do you sell these, like for me, it's the EMEs or the this.
Yes.
And you take it to where it's not necessarily, yes, the money is the bottom line.
Yes.
But I also feel like when you're connected with what you're supposed to do, I don't even like the word supposed, what you're meant to do, what you're called to do, then that's easy. That's easy. You have to nourish your body, and you have to nourish your body from the inside out. There's it doesn't matter what you put on the outside. If you're not nourishing your body, it doesn't matter. And you have to be balanced. Yeah. Balanced, whether it's God or, creator or universe or source, whatever you want to believe in, whatever your highest self is, that you have to be in alignment. You have to be in alignment because otherwise then you're kind of shooting blanks all over the place. You don't know where you're going. And then the glow is like, okay, you know what? That's your blueprint right there. Your skin is your blueprint. And if you don't have that nourished part, then you can't have the balance.
No.
And if you don't have the balance, then you can't have the glow. Yeah. You can't have the glow without the balance. So it's like, it's all like this perfect trifecta.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beauty Bound with your host, Cristal Rubio. You can find me on Beauty Pro Bookkeeping on Instagram. And like I told you guys last week, this might look a little different now just because Jackie is gone now. She is in North Carolina. But I do have a wonderful guest today. Her name is Alejandra. She's all the way from Colorado. She was here for Glow and Gather. And so I'm so excited for you guys to get to know her, to get to know her business. And just, she has a good story. And she is a licensed esthetician. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me, Cristal. And like you mentioned, I am an intuitive holistic esthetician. And I also do a lot of energy work as well as doing retreats, spiritual retreats.
And what is the name of your business? Because you have two.
I do. So the retreat business is Camino Encantado. And then the aesthetics is Enchanted Glow Aesthetics and Healing. And energy healing.
And energy healing. So one of the cool things, so I met her actually, she was referred to me by another one of my clients who I had honestly just known for like a day, I believe, also from Colorado.
Yes.
And so you actually called me, and I think when I saw your voicemail, I called you right away. But one of the cool things for me was just how like your energy and like the need and the want to be able to help others. And so that resonated with me a lot because my whole thing for me is like, I want to see people grow. I want to be able to see the growth. But when you were telling me about the two businesses and that you were trying to do bookkeeping for each one individually, at first I was like, yes, that's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
But then like after seeing your structure and the way that the business were going to work, I didn't see how we could split that because they go hand in hand with each other.
Absolutely.
So I know you have a trifecta and there's a way that all that came about. So can you tell us a little bit of how that came about, how you started with all this? Because you haven't been in the industry for very long.
I haven't. I actually, I would say it's been about 2.5 years, almost 3 years, that I have been doing the retreats.
Okay.
And the way that started was that I had been for the later part of my life, I was actually with the federal government.
Wow.
And I was helping, first I was helping immigrants integrate into the community. And then I transferred over to Homeland Security. And then I transferred over to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. So my heart has always been out there for people. But then I got really sick. I got really, really sick. And I had to just take a pause and, kind of refocus on myself and what was my purpose. And when I turned in my badge, that's when I realized that I had no idea who I was. Oh, wow. I mean, when I started taking those labels away from, mother or wife, employee, investigator, friend, I was left with, and I didn't know who that was. Yeah. So that was a scary moment in my life. That was like, okay, you know what? You're halfway through your life and you don't know who you are.
Because you go through that, I think it does happen like when you get into your, late 30s, early 40s, and even like 40 on, where you do kind of, your kids are starting to grow up.
Right.
And you do start questioning everything. Like who is, like for me, it was like, who is Cristal?
Right.
And for you, I'm sure, like, who is Alejandra? Like, who is this person?
Sure.
Now, if we were to take all that away.
All of it. And even your name is given to you. Like, you don't even, those are parts of, so that made me realize that it's like, okay, I was placed on this earth for a purpose, but I don't know what that purpose is.
Okay.
So, and then I had the ability to, I guess it was one of those nights that I said, you know what, I'm going to go to India. Yeah. I'm going to go to India. And why India? I don't know. I just chose. Well, and it was kind of like that without really necessarily thinking that. So I ended up going, and I went by myself. I went with two other people, but I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
So we were kind of both looking for the same thing.
Okay.
All three of us were looking for the same thing. Well, to make the long story short, that was a complete pivotal moment for me.
Okay.
So then I said, okay, I have always had a heart for helping people. And so those people, they, unfortunately or fortunately, the way you want to look at it, it always seems to be like, the women who have given their all.
Yes.
Work, kids, husband, everything. So you give your all and you end up losing yourself. So I'm like, okay, so I needed to take that step back. My daughter had already kind of gone to school, and then my son is 15, so he's, on his way out.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, so what happens if I can't take care of myself?
Yeah.
And so at that point, I'm like, okay, let's do this. I came back completely a different person.
Wow.
I was like, okay, I need to do these retreats because it was so instrumental for me when I came back that it's not about the retreats themselves. It's what you do when you come back. It's that integration component. Because, you're in a retreat and you're like, in high heaven, right?
Yes.
You're, you've got all the rainbows, all the unicorns, everything is perfect. But then you come back to reality.
Yes.
And if you don't integrate, that's when, then you go back to square one.
Yes.
So that's when I started saying, okay, you know what? I need to do these retreats. And then it happened to be that I am from Mexico, and it's the northern part of Mexico, which is this little town, Cuatro Ciénegas, Coahuila.
Okay.
And I just grew up there, right? So I didn't know the beauty of what this place held. So it happened to be that the trajectory of the total eclipse was happening last year in April. So I'm what better than to do a new beginnings retreat there.
Yes.
And you bring, you come back to the origin of life, which is, the origin of, of life, of the microorganisms, which are still found in Cuatro Ciénegas to this day.
Oh, wow.
So, so I did it. And then again, that was another teaching moment for me. So as I'm growing, as I'm expanding, it's one of those things that you just keep, becoming more aware.
Okay.
Becoming more aware of who you are, and that we're just walking this life. Like your soul is literally covered by this thing called your body.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's how I started with the retreats.
Okay.
And then, I've always been super intuitive, super intuitive, to the point where 9 times out of 10, my cases were solved because of my intuition. So it's just talking to somebody.
Yes.
being able to communicate with how that person looked, how that person, like that energy that they gave off.
Yeah.
And I'm such an empath that sometimes I feel so much energy that it's like I needed to figure out how to protect myself because sometimes, there was like tears coming out, but they weren't mine, which was really weird.
I 100% get that. I know when I started, one of the times that I started feeling that, because I feel like I'm an empath. I had to.
Oh, you definitely are.
Because I didn't know exactly how to handle it, and I was like, God, this is not. They're not my emotions. They're not my feelings. Please take them away. Because I didn't understand it. And then until I finally learned to be like, you know what, God. I know they're not my emotions and you're giving them to me, but that means is because that person doesn't know how to handle it.
Exactly.
So help me take them away from them. And that was it,
How to transmute them. How to transmute them to...
But it took a while because even for one time I just said, I don't want this.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember that.
No, and thank you for sharing because it's so interesting that so many people do have this empathic ability and they don't know what to do with. And then they shut down because they're feeling things that they don't even know how to process. So with that said, I started becoming more curious about what this meant and how to incorporate that and how to bring it into life, right? So I started, learning and becoming more in tune and more aware of how to learn how to incorporate these gifts that I was given. So then from there, it was interesting because sometimes it's very taboo.
Yes.
And you don't know how to say it because you don't know how some people might see it. So that was really impactful for me. And then I started thinking, well, you know what? This is a gift. Let me embrace it. And let me see what happens. And as soon as I started doing that, that whole taboo feeling kind of went away.
Yeah.
So then that was the second part of the component.
Okay.
And then the third component was like, okay, you know what? I really like skin. I've always liked, just how it's a blueprint. It's a blueprint of where you've been.
Yes.
So many times people want to change the way they look. And they want to change the way they look because they're not thinking of how grateful they should be that, not very many people get to be 50. I just turned 50.
Wow.
Not many people get to turn 50.
You're right.
Not many people get to turn, 12. Not many people get to turn 70. So each step
and
of the way.
And we're so ungrateful.
And I'm
so ungrateful for my wrinkles.
But you're thinking, you're like, oh my gosh, I can do this or I can do that. And then you see people that you look at them and then you're like, okay, you've met them, but you're like, you don't look the same. So you've completely changed your physiology or your looks.
Yes.
Because of the way that, what society wants you to look like. I mean, we're not Barbies. We're not meant to be Barbies.
And then there's all these freaking filters now everywhere. So it's like, you see the wrinkles and I'm just on Instagram. If I'm going to do a quick story, I'm like, fuck this like wrinkles. I don't want them,
Right.
Yeah. Right. So then I start, I'm like, all right, I just need to blur them out. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. So, anyways, then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to aesthetic school. But then I started thinking, oh my gosh, I'm 49. What am I thinking? This is, so there's all these different things but I'm like, you know what? This has been in my heart for a while. So when I went to aesthetic school, I didn't know why. Like I literally went to to see Katrina.
Yeah.
And I signed up that day. I really didn't know what I was thinking. I was
so that's how you met Katrina through school?
Yes.
She was your instructor, correct?
She was my instructor. And she's my biggest fan. And she's like, awesome. You can do this. Yeah. And, so her and I have become very good friends.
That's awesome.
And so then I started thinking, okay, because now I'm sitting here as a Pisces, as a fellow Pisces, it looks like you don't know where you're going or so. And at the same time, I was thinking, okay, how do I bring these three loves in my, for me? How do I bring these three things together? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to nourish your body. And you have to nourish your body from the inside out. There's it doesn't matter what you put on the outside. If you're not nourishing your body, it doesn't matter. And you have to be balanced.
Yeah.
Balanced, whether it's God or, creator or universe or source, whatever you want to believe in, whatever your highest self is, that you have to be in alignment. You have to be in alignment, because otherwise then you're kind of shooting blanks all over the place. You don't know where you're going. And then the glow is like, okay, you know what? That's your blueprint right there. Your skin is your blueprint. And if you don't have that nourish part, then you can't have the balance.
No.
And if you don't have the balance, then you can't have the glow.
Yeah.
You can't have the glow without the balance. So it's all like this perfect trifecta.
Yes.
So, and now, as time is passing, then that's where I'm, kind of tweaking things a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do feel like my philosophy is like
And you've changed so much too, because I did a deep dive on YouTube. Okay. So I did do a deep dive on YouTube, and I found a video of you talking for, I think it might have been the city of Denver, or I don't know, but it was an interview.
Or Littleton. Yes, the city of Littleton.
Guys, the way that your glow up, and you could tell the difference, and it's true. And I always tell people, there's been times that it's like, if you've seen, pictures of me too in the past, you could tell that I wasn't doing good spiritually, and I recently got baptized, and we started going to church, and it's amazing.
Awesome. Congratulations.
And, and just that feeling of actually, being closer to God, I feel that, but it doesn't just show on the inside.
Yeah.
It also shows the way that you carry yourself. And that, man, when I saw that video and seeing you now, you've had such a glow up, and you could see that change, not just on the outside, but inside too.
Oh, thank you.
So it was so amazing to see that. I was like, there's no way that's her. When I was, I first played it, so then I turned up the volume, and then I heard your voice, and I was like, what the fuck? There's no way. There's no way,
Yes.
So that is amazing, because you could tell that you've done the work to grow, not just physically, not just, but internally.
Yes.
You've done the work, and I know you continue to do the work to better yourself. And that's amazing.
Thank you. And it's been such a, it's been such a journey. It really has. It really has, in a way that, for those of you who don't know me, I literally released half of my body weight, and I didn't change anything. I was still doing my yoga. But it was how my alignment and how, okay, you know what? I have been placed, and I have been blessed on this earth to do something for somebody else. And it's like, and you fill your cup with water. You fill it up with love. Anything that literally is overflowing, then that's what you can give away.
Yeah.
You cannot give from an empty cup, which is what that balance is, that alignment, that nourish, the balance. And then the glow will come later. How many times when somebody's pregnant, think about, oh my gosh, you're glowing.
Yes.
You're radiating. Look at your skin. Look, because, obviously you're making life. Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
You're making life.
So there's been, and I'm not going to tell you that, these journeys are not easy. And if they were, everybody would be doing it.
And they're not easy, because you either, you start losing people around you, or people start questioning what you do. People start, just either judging or whatever that might be. And that's when it kind of sucks. But that's when you still have to stand your ground of the things that you believe in, the things that you're doing to be better, to be healthier, to be in line with God, to be, and all of that. And I think I know you've taken some steps that I know are hard for you that we won't talk about, but I know that even in that, knowing that you have to do some of these things to be able to grow.
Yes.
I know those are hurtful.
And it's the uncertainty, because something for such a long time, and switching to something that you have no idea. You're walking in faith. You're walking in that alignment, knowing that was placed in your heart.
Yes.
Because that's the right thing to do.
Yes.
And there's that heck yeah, versus hell no.
Yeah.
And when you start differentiating from those two things, that's your alignment. That's your path. That's your higher self talking to you. I mean, or God, or, like, again, whatever you resonate with. Mm-hmm. But it's something beyond you. It's something beyond you. One of the things that came to mind right now was when we were talking, it's like, before this whole awareness for me happened, I felt like I was like, there was like a tree in front of me, and I had like everywhere I looked was like a tree, like something was blocking me. And until I became the observer, until I kind of came out a little bit, where you're looking at the forest instead of the tree.
Yes.
It's like there's so
You're
many
looking at the
more,
bigger picture.
Yes. There's so many more trees. There's so many more trees. And you're focused on this one thing in front of you because you don't even know how to go past it.
Yeah. Wow. And the one cool thing is your son is getting to see all this.
Yes.
Your son is getting to experience a different version of his mom.
Yes.
A version that she is loving herself, that she is putting herself first before anyone else.
Yes.
And sometimes that, I think there's a guilt that comes along with it as a mom, as a wife, as a daughter, as a
sister, as a daughter. Yes,
yeah, because
absolutely.
you're trying to do good for yourself. At the same time, you're trying to set boundaries, but at the same time, you're trying to show your children.
Yes.
Like, look at what you're capable of doing.
Yes.
And so I know that becomes kind of hard, especially when you are standing your ground.
Yes.
But I feel like you're doing amazing with that.
Oh, thank you.
As far as your business too, I know you're doing amazing. I know you've had some hard things to kind of manage there, but you're doing it, like we're on the phone having, walking you through, like, let's set up the POS system,
I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Yes.
So all of that, I know. So you've been in business now since this.
Well,
for the aesthetics.
Yes, for the aesthetics. Okay, so this is another thing. This is another thing that I'll touch on just really quick. I was meant to open, or in my mind, I thought I was going to open my business in February. Well, God had another plan because it's like, nope, you need to finish some of the stuff that you haven't finished before you can start something new. So I wasn't listening. I mean, I was getting tired. I was like, I knew that I had to slow down, and I was not listening. I was not listening.
God knocks you on your ass.
Oh my gosh. Literally. Yes. I actually fell and broke.
Oh, shit.
Do you remember that? Do you remember?
Yes.
I actually fell and broke the head of my humerus.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, I literally couldn't do the basic needs. Yeah. I couldn't shower. I couldn't change. My daughter had to come back from Greeley every couple of days to come help me. I mean, and then that's what I said, okay, you know what? Okay, I'm listening. So I had to take 3 steps back, go back into myself and realign myself again because I was not doing what I was supposed to be doing. And then so going back to your question, I opened my business in at the end of April. So April 27th, the day after. So April 27th, that was a Sunday.
Yeah.
On April 28th, that first week, I had 10 people that booked.
That's amazing.
That first week. So it's like, so when you're in alignment, things are going to show up.
Yes.
Things are going to show
God
up.
always does things and also in timing that we don't understand sometimes.
Yes.
And I think I've even told you, I know that there's times that I'm just go, and I'm tired, but I still keep on going.
Yes.
And my husband will always tell me, babe, you got to slow down or you got to rest. No, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then I get really sick. Yeah. I get so sick where I just can't function and I can't even get to my laptop. Like and it'll be like that for like a week or 2.
Yes.
And
yes. So it takes longer.
Because then I'm forced to rest. I'm forced to sleep. I'm forced to do all these things. I'm forced to not look at my phone. And I hate that.
Yes.
But I have
But it's those resets that we we need to be aware of those things. We need to be aware of those things because it's something that it's like a gentle knock.
Yes.
And a gentle knock and hey, and then it's a poke.
Yep.
And then it's a poke and then it's kind of like, and then until it's like, okay, you're not listening. Yeah. I'm going to do something.
Yes.
So, yes. Yeah.
It always happens that way.
Yes.
So then you opened and we started talking at the end of May.
Yeah.
Because it was right before I went on vacation. It was literally 2 days before I went on vacation.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll get you set up. I was in Jamaica, and I was getting her set up.
Oh, my gosh. And I kept saying, you know what? Boundaries, girl. Boundaries. Yeah. You're on vacation. Yeah. So I could understand. But then going back to this, Cristal, it's like God has, not only did he knock me on my butt, but then it's like, then Katrina was, in my life. And then she's like, well, you need to call Cristal because I already had somebody else set up.
Yeah, I remember that. You were about to sign.
I was about to sign with somebody else.
Yeah.
I was about to sign with somebody. I was like, I'm just going to give her, just let me give her a call. And then you connected me with Matt.
Yes.
And then Matt's amazing. And it's like I've been like, it's almost, and I feel like I'm doing everything in reverse.
Yeah.
Like, I should have done this, before this. But
no,
nope, it's
things happen for a reason.
Things happen for a reason. So now it's like this cool little pod of a team that I feel very supported. I feel very supported.
I'm so glad.
So it's like, okay, yes, I know this is going to be an investment, but it's an investment for my future.
Yes.
And if I would have thought about that before, I wouldn't be where I'm at now, but at the same time, I wouldn't have this pod of a team that I feel very supported in.
That's awesome.
So that's what that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So everything is, divinely balanced.
Yes. And that's awesome because one of the things that I've told you, and that I tell all my clients, to be honest, when it comes to, if you guys are looking for a website, if you're looking for a way that things work, and even, me trying to at least get you some kind of
that Band-Aid.
The Band-Aid with Wix, and try out, and I was like, we'll get it figured out, but things were just, even that wasn't aligning, and it's things that I know how to do, and it just was not connecting. It was not connecting, and I was like, what the heck, like, this is not it, but we still got it to where it worked at least
for the time being.
Yes. But my thing is always like, don't get Wix. Get somebody to design your website, for that reason, because yes, it is an investment. Yes, it costs a little bit more, but how
it
much
doesn't.
money? Yeah.
It really
how
doesn't.
much money are you spending prior to that with all the Band-Aids, with all the getting different people who also are not reputable?
Yes.
And that sucks, because that's what I see. I encounter that a lot. And the reason I always recommend Matt is because I know he's like me, where he wants to help people and help them grow and see the finished product.
Yes.
And so he's not going to give you a quote on cookie cutting, well, I only have these and this is how it works. And I'm going to send this to you and then to every other client that's inquiring.
Right.
No, he tries to fix a problem,
I love that.
And that's me. I don't have, if you look at my website, you will not find any packages. No, because guess what? Everybody's different. Even though I deal with the beauty industry, every person has a different need.
Yes.
So I will never have a set price for everyone, I just have we start here, but this is
for you. So it's uniquely catered towards the client.
Yes.
The client that's
and I know, and that's what you do. And we've talked about many times and even more so recently on, instead of having multiple facials, create your 3 main ones, but they're customizable when they get there.
Correct.
When you see them.
Yes.
So now that you've been behind, I can't say behind the chair, but behind the bed.
Yes, behind the bed.
Behind the bed. So what are some of the things that you've noticed now with clients coming in, that it's not just about the facial, it's also about that inner healing?
Absolutely.
How do you connect all that?
Well, one of the things that I love to do, and I think I've never experienced this in another facial before. It doesn't mean that it hasn't happened. But when somebody comes in, I'd like to sit down and have a consultation with them. And it's not necessarily a consultation of what they want to accomplish, but it's a consultation on what brings them in.
Okay.
Because they're either going to a wedding or they're like, you know what, I just don't feel very well. You know, whatever it is that I want to feel pretty, or I want to do this, or I want to. So I get down, and as the investigator in me, you know, I start asking questions. So, okay. And then I just kind of go down this little rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, it's the emotions behind what brings them in. And you always know when somebody's gone through something big when there's a big change. Yeah. Meaning that, and as stylists or estheticians or anybody that's out there, please hear me, that whenever that does happen, please don't do it. You know what I mean? Because it's like
I changed my hair color and I cut it off.
Yeah, right. So you have these big things, and then you're like, because you want the end of the old life, and the beginning of something new. But it's like, okay, you're kind of going behind, you're going around instead of through.
Yes.
So that's where, for me, I feel like I give that uniqueness.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, you know what? Let's focus on this. Or they'll come in for an energy healing, and they really don't need an energy healing. They just need an EME talk.
Okay.
Or, you know, so
what's the difference between those two?
Okay, so an energy healing is somebody wants to clear whatever it is that they're going through.
Okay.
I'll just give you an example. Let's say somebody just an empty nester.
Okay.
So if somebody goes in and they just dropped their kid off at college, and now they're really, really like depressed.
Yeah.
So they come in and they're like, okay, I need to feel young. I need to do this. I need to do that. So it's not necessarily that. They're going through a grieving period. Yes. So instead of that, then you have those conversations. So it's the EME, energy, mind, emotion, integration.
Okay.
So you're bringing in, again, going back to the trifecta, the nourish, the balance, the glow. Okay. So you're bringing in the outer, the inner, and the around all together.
Okay.
So you're bringing them back into balance, because when you're not in balance, then you're always looking for the next best thing. Yes. And you're not sitting with yourself. You're not sitting with your emotion. I'm so guilty.
100%. Yes.
I'm so guilty.
Yeah. I went and chopped off my hair right before I was getting baptized, and not because of anything of what God had said or anything, but it was just a me thing.
Sure.
Of trying to get rid of old me.
Yeah. And bringing something
new.
Mm-hmm.
But then as soon as I got baptized, I instantly regretted not cutting off the hair so much because I needed it.
Yeah.
But the taking away my fun color. Because I knew that's not what God wanted.
Yes.
That was more of me in my heart.
That you felt like that's
mind.
What it that's what you needed.
God wanted. And that's not, it's because the moment I got thrown in that water, I was like,
what did I do?
That wasn't it. Yeah, because I knew that wasn't it. It was, the baptism felt so like just, it was what I needed, but the hair coloring was not it. So now I've implemented it to make it still mine.
Yes.
But still, it was, so I get that 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So so that's my goal. That's my goal. I don't want to change you.
Yeah.
Because you are who you are. I'm not your guru. Because I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not your healer, because I'm not.
Because you heal yourself.
You heal yourself. I'm here to bring everything together so you become your own best advocate.
Okay.
And you're your higher self, your relationship with God, your relationship with Buddha, your relationship with Jesus, your whatever it is that your relationship is, your alignment with is, that's you. That is you. So these external factors that we feel are going to make us better.
It's not.
They're not.
No.
They're not. It's
until you heal this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
awesome. Where I'm at. So going back to what do I do is I have a thorough consultation with the client first. And then, or they might want a microneedling. Going back to aesthetics, they might want microneedling. Well, they don't really need microneedling. They might need a peel.
Yeah.
Or they might need this. So I kind of want to go to see what their goal is, what their end goal is, and then go on it from there. Just because somebody comes in and says, I want to do this, doesn't mean that that's what they need.
Yes.
Now, I don't know what they need, but I'm there to help give you the curiosity to ask the questions for yourself.
So, and I know that you are more holistic as far as ingredients and as far as like even the brands that you bring in. And we've talked about this, and even the brands that you're getting rid of.
Yes.
And it's not so much because the brand is bad, but it's not what you need at the moment for what you're trying to bring to your clientele.
Correct.
So how have you managed that in a way that, and we've talked about this outside of here, but how are you doing it to be able to still sell that product that you're trying to get rid of because it doesn't align with you anymore and what you're trying to offer, but still, to keep that trust within your clients? How have you been doing that?
That's a great question, because at first I was struggling with that because here I am. I have clients that I was recommending these, these products to. So what I have from my own peace of mind, it's like, okay, I know what I know now.
Yes.
And tomorrow might be something different.
Yes.
So tomorrow, the brands that I'm using now might not resonate with me anymore.
Exactly.
So then, and it's the beauty industry, like any other industry, it's a matter of knowledge. It's how much knowledge you know, and it changes on a day-to-day basis. Yes. So natural doesn't necessarily mean good.
Yes.
Organic doesn't necessarily mean organic. Even even the word, botanical doesn't necessarily mean botanical. So what does it mean? So for me, holistic is taking care of the whole body.
Okay.
It's going back to that trifecta, Nourish Balance Glo. You have to take care of yourself from the inside in order for you to be aligned, in order for you to be, to glow. And again, I can give you $1,000 bottle of moisturizer, and if you're eating shit, it's not going to work. Yeah. Now, if you're eating plants-based food all the time and you're not giving your body that alignment that it needs or that balance, it doesn't matter if you wear the Walgreens brand on your face. It doesn't matter. It's a matter of having your body recognize what it knows to be effective for it to do what it's supposed to do.
Okay. See, and that's one thing I think that as consumers we don't pay attention to. As beauty industry professionals, I think we try to pay more attention to all of that because it's, what they see is what they're going to trust us with.
Exactly.
I know that when I think holistic, I'm like, okay, so does that mean that
it doesn't work because it's going to take longer?
Yeah, or like, because you do micro needling. So here in the state of Texas, and this is always something that I always bring to everybody, in the state of Texas, we're not allowed to do micro needling.
Okay.
Or you can, as long as you have a medical director.
Wow. Okay.
But even then, it has to be, I believe it's 0.25. You cannot go deeper than 0.25, or I think 0.32. Something I can't remember, but you cannot go deeper than that.
Wow. Okay.
Now, in Colorado, you can smoke weed.
Yes.
So we're very different.
Yes. Well,
no, but
and going back, and I love that you bring that up. I love that you bring that up because going back to when I broke my arm, I was given. Doctors are very quick.
Oh, yes.
They're very quick to write you a prescription for
legal
opioids.
Heroin. I'm on legal heroin.
Holy moly. Like my body is so sensitive that, when I broke my arm, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to faint. I don't know if I'm going to throw up. I'm doing both. It was really bad. So the first thing they did is they gave me, oxycodone, whatever it was,
Probably
I don't know.
Oxycodone,
They injected it and it took the pain out like this much.
Oh, morphine.
But whatever it was, my stomach was turning and I was like, oh my gosh, this doesn't. So now I was in so much pain, but I was like, so the only reason why I'm bringing this up is I have a dear friend of mine. Her name is Megan Kenter, and she's the owner of Sacred Ace Skincare. She's got this beautiful line of CBD oils. That my friend.
Natural.
You put it on, and I'm telling you, it was like magic.
Yeah,
it was like magic.
Yeah, there's a reason why cancer patients are allowed to smoke weed.
Yes.
And again, a lot of other states, it's legal, know. Mm-hmm. There is a reason why when my my husband's birth mom was dying of cancer, we crossed over this way and we bought her some, and we got her some drops.
Yeah.
And I know we shouldn't have, but we took it to Mexico because that's what she needed to be
at the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what made her comfortable. So
without the side effects and without the
medication wasn't, the medication was just not helping. But so why do we give the opioids? Why? Because it's pharmaceutical companies.
I'm just telling you that going back to the genetic, it's almost like I love that new word.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that they've been throwing it around quite a bit, but this the pharmacist from Boulder or from Broomfield in Colorado, he kind of, I don't know, coined that term, but it's biogenetic, where your body knows assimilates.
Yes.
They assimilate what the body's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that I'm a hippie, and I'm not saying that I'm like granola or anything like that, because and my family probably tells me that I am, but it's like I just feel like the more your body knows what to do with what you're putting inside, the better.
Yes. I mean, and it goes back to like even the way that you eat and all that.
Yes.
It does make a huge difference.
It does.
Because even, I've told you many times, I have ADHD. Mm-hmm. I got off my medication for like a month, and I'm still like trying to
adjust.
Yeah. But I've noticed that I cannot freaking function without my medication. So I had to start taking just when I need it, because I'm so forgetful. But if I take anything that has any dyes in it, especially Red 40, oh my gosh, it's horrible.
It makes it,
yes, it changes it changes the way that I feel. It changes everything.
Yes.
But we don't pay attention to those things because we've been fed all this shit for so many years that by the time that you're like finally, starting to realize, oh man, maybe I shouldn't eat this. Maybe I shouldn't, it's already kind of late.
The blueprint of your skin, your blueprint of your skin. Yeah. It's all of these little things that you did from before that, resonate at the very end. So, it's crazy.
Man.
And we're the ones that have the most, we're the richest country.
Yes.
And at the same time, the
poorest.
Health-wise. I mean, think about it. We are the ones that are we're the sickest. We're the sickest country in the world.
Man, in Europe, I could eat bread and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Here, I eat bread and I get all swollen.
Yes. Yes. Because it's not bread.
No, it's shit.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes.
I just bought a wheat grinder.
Yes.
I still need to buy the wheat berries so I could grind, because I'm like, I still want to eat bread, I don't want to feel like shit every time I eat it.
Exactly.
And, I have chickens and all this stuff, that I hardly ever have time for, but
they're there.
Yeah. And I have fresh eggs. Cause
I love that. We have chickens too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's like, I think all that goes back to like aligning yourself in a way that you're still making your body healthy, because it helps with your skin.
Yes.
It helps with the way that you feel. And so if you're doing all that at home and then you go get a facial,
it's going to amplify. It's going to amplify everything.
And I know you have, if we go back to like your services that you offer, and if you're trying to give advice to other estheticians, and like I said, I know you're a newbie, and that's okay, but I think as a newbie, you've surrounded yourself with people who are very knowledgeable in the industry.
Yes.
So you have your you could call it low ticket item. You have your medium ticket item, and then you have your high.
Yes.
And if you go with the low, that's your aesthetics.
Yes.
Your mid ticket is your energy healing.
Yes.
And then your high ticket item is your retreats.
Correct.
And that's your trifecta. Again, always offering something different.
Yes.
So for you, as you kind of get into the business and you've been doing the facials, have you noticed that a lot of those clients transfer over to either energy healing, or that have thought about going to their retreats, or how is that working out for you?
Thanks for that question. Actually, it's really interesting. So people who come in for my aesthetics, they always want energy healing.
That's awesome.
people who come in for energy healing end up getting the facials. So those have kind of crossed over quite well. Since I started my aesthetics work and the energy healing, I've only had one retreat.
Okay.
So right now, there's some people from my energy healing that have transferred over to my retreats. Not necessarily the energy or the aesthetics, and it's because I've only been I've only been active for a couple months.
Yes.
I do feel like if I can share my goal on what that trifecta is and what that philosophy that has helped me, I feel like there's going to be more people that are going to go from either the energy healing to the retreats, or the aesthetics to the retreats, or both. Just
yes, and that's one of the things I think when we started talking more deeply when it came to and kind of trying to dig more when it came to your page build out and to me creating a landing page inside of Wix for Camino Encantado.
Yes,
my thing was like, well, because it makes sense for it to be like, if it makes sense for me on the bookkeeping side for it to be together, because it's still at the end of the day, it's one business that you're offering multiple services.
Yes.
I don't see why you need a separate page for Camino Encantado. And that was my main thing. I was like, there's, I had a vision. I don't know how to put it out there or how to say it. And I remember telling you, it
doesn't make sense.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I knew what I wanted or what I thought that for you. But then, when Matt came in and I was like, and then when he told me what you guys were going to do, I was like, holy shit.
That makes sense.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah. Because now people are going to know what you are just in your homepage.
Yes.
Alone.
Yes. And again, going backwards. Because I had, the Camino Encantado was the umbrella, and then I had the Enchanted Glow under the DBA, and then I had the tagline of the Nourish Balance Glo. And of course, I guess I want to retrace what you just said. That's what I love about you. Because it's like, you could have just said, sure, let's do this, and I'm going to charge you this. And you're like, no, we're going to put it together, and then I can save you money here.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known the integrity. Just because I work with integrity doesn't mean that everybody else does. So I appreciated that from you. And then I appreciated the fact that Matt was like, wait a minute, why don't we do the Nourish? And I was like, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. And again, everything backwards, because I do everything backwards. So
it just makes so much more sense to do that, And so when I heard it from him and then I heard it from you, I was like, oh my gosh, it makes sense. That's what I don't know how to, sometimes I don't know how to put things into words. I could picture them, but it's not coming out.
Yes.
And this way, as you both have talked to me about it, it makes me so excited to know that from the beginning, people will know, okay, this is exactly what she's about. This is exactly what it is, and one of the things that I do want to say, and I feel like sometimes when you start off a business, the bookkeeping is the last thing that people worry about.
Yes.
And
it's the first thing you should worry about.
Because people come to me once I have to do a cleanup for the whole year, or maybe even 2 years, or maybe even in March. So I could do last year and then this year, however it is. And not that I dislike that. I mean, I love doing that. But at the same time, it's like when you start off a business, your main thing should always be bookkeeping, because you need to know exactly how much money you're spending. And that's one thing that I love about you and Katrina. Both of you came to me right at the beginning of what you're starting.
Yes.
And it also makes me excited because I get to kind of work along with you guys as you guys are growing your businesses and you guys are going on new ventures. And it's really cool to see that and to see that growth.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you guys.
Thank you.
And then, so as far as, can you tell me what is one of the biggest takeaways that you had at Glow and Gather?
Oh my gosh. I was just telling you earlier. Oh, I think everything came down. I mean, I know you're asking me about the actual event, but for me, because I'm a water through and through, like, so I was so overwhelmed with emotions that I did not know how to process them.
Okay.
And I was, even though I felt like I've known you for eons.
Yeah.
I mean, I met you for the first time.
Yes.
I was here and I didn't know anyone. I mean, I knew your face. I knew you, but I didn't know you. And you were doing your things. And then I had, I was trying to meet people, and then I didn't feel comfortable. And then I'm like, but why don't so there was all these things. So my biggest takeaway is that it doesn't matter how often you do these things. It's still going to be, like, for me, I'm just accepting the fact that I'm an emotional person.
Yes.
I saw Bree yesterday, and she was one that had been coming up on my feed and on different. She was just one that just she was kind of like, well, she was a person that I really wanted to meet because she's such an inspiration.
Yes.
I mean, she's such an inspiration, and it's almost like, if she can do it,
yes,
I can do it.
Yes.
So even when I was talking to her, all these emotions. As a side note, my dad died here 7 years ago.
Okay.
So, and in this area.
Oh man.
So, at the hospital, and so I had all those emotions that came through, and then I had,
her grandpa just passed. Yeah.
See, you know what? I don't know why I felt some grief in her too.
Yeah, she had just came back. She had posted on her story.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. But anyway, so going back to reading energies, it's almost like I would. Well, now I know. I don't know. Yeah. But anyways, and it wasn't like she said anything.
No.
Or meaning that it wasn't like she said anything to trigger me to be as emotional as I was.
Yes.
I just was.
Yeah.
I just was. And then I was able to talk to Ella, and she's amazing, and she's from Denver, and she's right up my alley. She's right up the street from where I live.
That's amazing.
So, I mean, it was just like, I went home, or I went to my sister's house, and I was like, why was I so emotional? Mm-hmm. And I think it was just because I'm right there.
Yes.
Like, I'm right there before, like, taking my next step.
Yes.
Because this is how I felt when I went to India.
Yeah.
This is how I felt when I went to India. It's almost like, okay, you're right there. It's right there.
You're about to close a chapter.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was that. It was a closing of the chapter. It was my dad. It was meeting new, beautiful people and, trying to, network and doing. So it was a lot. It was a lot.
So I'm horrible at networking events. I get really nervous.
Really?
Yes. And if you saw me stay quiet or kind of get, or kind of move away, and because that's what I was trying to, like,
just be within yourself.
Because I didn't. The only people I knew there was you, Jackie, Desiree, the two girls who were the ones who created the event, mm-hmm. and then Pam, who I had on the podcast. Me and Jackie had her on the podcast a few weeks before that, so. And I had met her daughter and, her niece, but it was still like, it becomes to where it's so much. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
You just need to take down.
Oh, yeah. And so even when people were coming up to the table and saying like, oh, hi, like, it's so nice to, like, meet you in person. I've listened to the podcast. I was like, hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Because I don't know how to fucking act. I just get so, like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. Every single time.
That nervous.
Yes.
That nervousness.
Every single time that I meet new people or I'm around new people, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, what if they don't like me? Mm. What if I'm too much? What if so then it's like I start overthinking all these things mm-hmm. because I know I have so many quirks and I know, like, I'm very blunt and I know that sometimes I don't say nice things or sometimes just things come out and I'm just like, maybe shut up.
Oh, girl, we've got to have an EME session. We've got to have an EME session.
Oh, man. So it's so many freaking things, that I'm just like, and I know I'm in my head. That's it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think like it was an amazing event.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. They couldn't have gone better. It was very well organized. It was very well thought out. And I'm ready to come back next year.
Right? Yes, oh man. Yes, and yes. I'm sure I don't know what your takeaways were from Bree. But I know I even wrote notes.
I have like a whole
right. Yeah, I know. I saw you writing. Yes. She was just there taking notes. For me, I was taking notes because I feel like it doesn't just go with with estheticians like this. These are things that you could apply
as a business. Yeah. You can even in your own personal life. Yes. It doesn't necessarily have to be business. It has to, in your own personal life.
And one of the things that if we're talking about money making and getting yourself out there in a way for your business to start making money, or for you to start, just doing all the things. And actually, it wasn't her that said it. I think it was Keish that said this, where you have to make six figures a year, you got to make $74 a year, right?
Something like that.
A day.
Yes.
A day. So that's working 7 days a week. So now, if you make calculations and make little tweaks on how many days a week do you want to work,
yes,
then you have, you kind of combine the money, because now at $274 a day, and this is my bookkeeping. I'm sorry.
No, that's great.
$274 a day times 7 days, that's only $1,900. So $1,918 a week. Like, how many of you guys are already making that? So now let's say you only want to work
5 days a week.
5 days a week. That's $383 a day.
Yeah.
Yes. It's easy, guys.
It's
easy.
Well, and it comes down to not necessarily doing services, because you could.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you sell products? How do you sell these? These, like for me, it's the EMEs or the this. Yes. And you take it to where it's not necessarily, yes, the money is the bottom line.
Yes.
But I also feel like when you're connected with what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
I don't even like the word supposed. What you're meant to do.
What
you're called to do. Then
that's easy.
That's easy.
Yeah.
That's easy.
And especially like one of the things that I know you and I have talked about as well is having memberships.
Yes.
And that's one of those things that Bree talked about.
Yes, she did.
The memberships. That the only reason she doesn't do it is because Gloss Genius hasn't gotten their shit together.
Yeah.
That's not exactly what she said, guys. That's me saying it. Let me clear that out.
Yes.
But they haven't gotten their shit together in implementing this, but Square has.
Yeah, I know.
Square has, and I know we've talked about implementing those things, and that was that's a great idea, and we've talked about the different things you want to do. So can you tell us a little bit what your goals are for the rest of this year and where you're at right now, and especially, I think, as far as aesthetics business growing, how do you see that going?
Thank you for that. I do feel that going down to, because I do offer quite a bit of facials.
Okay.
And the product line that I use, Green Envy, they're so good at education.
Okay.
That it's that you have this for this for this type of skin and so forth. So instead of having protocols, thank you. Instead of having 15 different protocols, then go down to 3. And then from those 3, it's uniquely made to the person that's coming in. From there, it's like doing the memberships. The membership is, it's like, if you want to come in once a month, if you want to come in twice a month, whatever it is, it's like depending on the membership that you subscribe to. I also feel like where my daughter and I were talking about glow drops or glow points, just to kind of have those to accumulate,
cool.
And then to kind of be able to switch them out for products or services or things like that.
Oh, that would be
so
awesome.
I think that there's still quite a bit of things that, to work through. I have a great team that I feel awesome. Like, is to kind of help me be accountable for those things. And as far as what I have available, the retreat that's coming up in September 20th through the 27th is coming back to source in Cuatro Ciénegas, and just kind of implementing and still going back and forth between the 3 things.
Okay.
One of the things that Bree did say is to be very good to master your technique.
Yes.
So I really, really, really want to master that trifecta.
So now the next question and probably the last question, where do you see now you have 2 Instagrams.
I do.
So what's the goal with that? Are you keeping the both?
I think that's a Matt question.
Matt?
Matt?
Yeah.
No,
I've been that actually just right now that popped. I'm like, there's no need for the 2.
No.
Yeah.
I think the goal is, and I feel this to be, online or in purpose or on purpose. On purpose. I feel that it would be switched over to the Nourish Balance Glo and then go with the 2 different things. That's what I see.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being and coming from Colorado, guys. Yes. Like, that is amazing. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so glad that you were able to make it to the podcast. Yes. And could you tell us one more time where they can find you?
Sure. So at this
moment
in time, it's Enchanted Glow Spa and Camino Encantado. So those are my 2 Instagram handles.
Yes. Yeah. So go follow her. Thank you. And we'll probably get her to start doing some videos and stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
You already do them on Instagram. Let's get her on YouTube, guys.
Yes.
Yes. But thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. You guys have a wonderful week. Bye.
Bye.